Good morning and welcome to Align and Connect. Today's practice, we're going to kind of combat the stress of, well, life in general. You can use this for a stressful time, but right now there are lots of fires blazing and it's pretty scary. And there are tools that we can use to bring ourselves back to center once we feel like we're in a safe place. Um, so today's practice is going to be about using those tools, about using the breath carefully, about kind of getting into our body and making it our point of focus and making it feel okay and taken care of and nurtured. And generally just trying to keep ourselves steady and feeling supported by this solid ground underneath us. So let's start by getting comfortable. And I invite you to really think about it right now rather than just kind of throwing yourself into your usual seat. Maybe you shift around, maybe you stretch your legs out, maybe you grab a chair. I'd love for you to take a minute to really find what that comfortable position is so that you can already start out this practice by giving yourself the care that you need. Once you're comfortable, please put a hand on your chest and a hand on your abdomen. Feel your breath moving under your hand. That life force moving under your hands. Lengthen your exhale by toning your abdomen once your exhale feels like it's finished and pushing more breath out. Let the inhale come in naturally. Imagine that you could send your inhale anywhere in your body. And the next time you inhale, let the inhale move to the top of your head. And as you exhale, exhale down through your head, face, neck, shoulders. The next time you inhale, inhale into your top hand into your chest. And as you exhale, let the exhale roll down the arms, down the chest and upper back and ribs, front and sides and back. The next time you take an inhale, breathe into your bottom hand, into your abdomen, into your low back even. And then as you exhale, release the abdomen, the low back, the hips, the legs, the feet. Feel yourself touching the ground. So let's imagine that these breaths are an elevator. And so you're going to pull the elevator all the way back up to the top of the head and take a gentle little inhale at the top of the head. Let in some fresh air, and then the doors close. And as you exhale, that elevator goes down through the head and the neck and the shoulders. You open up at the chest, letting a breath of fresh air in, and then you close and you let that elevator go down, down, down until it gets to your abdomen. At which point you take a gentle breath and open the doors, let in some light, and then close and exhale all the way down to where your body touches the floor. Three breaths to ground ourselves. We're going to do it one more time. Inhale into the top of the head, gentle inhale. And then an exhale down through the head, neck, and shoulders, releasing some of the tension. Inhale into the chest. Exhale all the way down until you get to the belly floor. Inhale into the belly, opening the doors. And then letting them close as you take the elevator all the way down, releasing the rest of your body down toward the floor. Just taking a little bit of the held surface layer tension down, out, into the ground that's holding you, that can hold that tension. The ground can hold the tension. Let it drop down. I'm going to give you just another few moments just focusing on your breath. And if you want to do more 3 count grounding breaths, do some more of those. Just blink your eyes a few times. Blink your eyes. Close your eyes and roll the eyes to look down. Roll them around in a full circle to the side, up, to the other side, down. Make a couple more circles, slowly, slowly. Really concentrating on your eyes moving because your eyes are closed. So you're sometimes it's kind of hard to notice if the eyes are doing what you're asking them to do. So just keep paying attention. And then just rest your eyes. Your eyes are still closed. And then look down with your eyeballs. Your eyes are still closed, and you're going to make some circles in the other direction. Nice and slow. Noticing the gentle stretch around the attachments in the eyes. Stay focused on the eye movement. And once you finish this round, let your eyes rest completely. Rub your hands together. And then just some little massages around the eyelids, so, so softly. Don't put any pressure on your eyeball. And right above the eye where that bone is, where you can put some pressure. Maybe there are some tense spots there. And let's go over to the temples and give ourselves some good rolls there. Just kind of, you could put however much pressure you want at the temples, really massaging this area. Keep going. Take an easy breath in and a long breath out. Now, if your air quality is decent, you can certainly focus on longer inhales. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to kind of keep this idea of just kind of a gentle inhale, long exhale. Okay. And then maybe you want to bring those fingers over to the eyebrows and massage that area, massage down to the jaw, massage down the chin, wrap around to the back of the neck, and just kind of press your fingers around the base of your skull. down to the back of the neck on each side of the spine. And even eventually, we can just give ourselves a little shoulder massage on those muscles that like to just gather up to our ears when we're in challenging or stressful situations, or always. Maybe they just always do that if you're like me. Okay. So let's take our arms way out to the sides. Inhale here. Exhale, wrap our arms over our chest. Give ourselves a big old hug. If you want to stay in the hug, it's all yours. If you want to take it into eagle arms, that's all yours. I'm going to add a little bit of movement up and down with the elbows. Again, sometimes dynamic movement feels like it's too much. There's just too much going on. And sometimes dynamic movement is a nice way to focus on what you're doing presently. So use it according to what you need right now. Be aware of the back of your skull. Let it sit back a little bit as if there's a wall there, even if your arms are still wrapped in a hug. And then let's wrap our arms in a hug if they're not already there. I'm giving myself another little shoulder massage. Can't get enough of those. And then remember which arm is on top before releasing the arms. Okay, let's do some big shoulder rolls up, back, down, forward. Break up some of the holding patterns around the chest and shoulders. And then recall, you could shake it out. Recall which arm was on top. Take your arms wide, wrap your arms in another hug with the other arm on top. Snuggle in here. Or if it feels nice for you, you can switch on over to eagle arms, wrapping your forearms and your hands together. And I'm going to go gentle lifting and lowering with the elbows just to keep exploring the stretch behind my shoulder blades. And let's just keep our attention on our arms for now. Mm-hmm. Head stays back. And then let's wrap it into a hug if you weren't already there. Do any massages that might feel good. And then let the arms come down by the sides. Let's do some more circles. Forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. And then in the other direction, back, up, forward, down. Back, up, forward, down. And one more like that. And inhale, take the arms out to the sides, up to the ceiling. Soften the inner shoulders away from the ears. Make sure your head can move. Externally rotate your right arm so your palm faces back. Take the hand to the upper back and hold the right elbow with the left hand, stretching out the upper right arm. Feel the freedom around your ribs. Be aware of the back of your skull. Stretch both arms up. Make sure your neck is still free. And then externally rotate the left arm, hand faces back, bend the arm. Hold the elbow. Okay. And then let's stretch the arms up. Neck is free, neck is free. Hands beside, hands pressed together at the heart. Press the palms forward, round, and pull the elbows like you're going to pull your hands apart. Chest broadens, and then round, and then broaden. And if you want to go up, you can round and then stretch the arms up. Neck is free. Looking up and down. Separate the hands. Take a side stretch to the right. Exhale into the side stretch. And then inhale, return to center. Take a moment here. And then inhale into the side stretch. I'm going to change it. And exhale, return to center. Maybe an exhale returning to center feels a little stronger. Inhale into the side stretch. Exhale, return to center. And inhale into the side stretch. Exhale, return to center and twist to your right. Look behind you. Look in front of you to your left shoulder. And then find a spot that feels good for your neck, for your head. And then let your eyes keep looking to the right of the sockets, to the right side of the eye sockets. So that no matter where your head actually is, your eyes are trying to look over your right shoulder. Feel both hips heavy, supported, both legs heavy, supported. One more breath here. Exhale all the way out. Okay, and then you're going to leave your right hand back there, come out of the twist and put your left hand back there too. So now you have both hands sitting on the floor behind you. You have two hands, you have two hips, you have two legs touching the ground. Chest broad. And then let the arms sit by your sides. And stretch both arms up. And take a side stretch in onto the left. Take a side stretch onto the left. And then the first one I had you inhale, come back to center, just so you can focus on the height of the pose. Okay, and then I had you hold here for a moment, neck is free. And then you're going to inhale into the side stretch, inhale into the length, and then exhale so you can contract out of the side stretch. So focusing more on the core aspect of this. Okay. And then let's just do one more. And sweep right on over into a twist. Once you're out of the side stretch, turn to the left. Look behind you. Look to your right. Find a good position for your head. And let your eyes turn to the left. So it looks like you're looking over your left shoulder no matter where your head is. And don't let your eyes influence your head. Your eyes are doing that one thing, and your head is doing what's good for your neck. Okay, one more breath here. Now we're going to relax the eyes, come out of the twist, but let's take the hands behind us again. So the hands are sitting on the floor behind us, and we have two legs on the floor. We got two hips grounded. We have two hands grounded. Right, and if you're in a chair, you have 2 feet grounded, 2 legs sitting on the support of the chair, right? So whatever you're sitting on is still perfect. If you'd like, interlace your fingers behind your back. Feel your strength in your back body. Feel your soft inhales coming in to your front body and long exhales moving out. You are supported. You are safe. You are here right now. Take your time, release your hands, give yourself a moment. Please make your way onto hands and knees when you feel ready to get there. There's no rush in our movements. That's another thing that we want to think about as we're feeling grounded, as we're feeling supported, as we're feeling safe. We can move slower, and that's okay. And that helps us to stay mindful and to take good care of ourselves. From hands and knees, just start rocking forward and back. You choose how much. A little tone around the middle, tone around the arms to protect the wrists. And then your rocks can turn into circles if you'd like you're making circles around your hands here. And then in the other direction. And then back to center, knees wide, toes touch, sit back towards your heels, put your elbows on the floor. So you're in a child's pose where your collarbones are still broad, but where you feel a little extra weight in your lower body, let your toes click into the floor. Let your shins feel support. Let your hips get heavy. Let your abdomen soften, and then find a position you like for your hands. You can stretch them forward. You can put your forearms under your head. You can take your arms down by the sides of your body. Find a position that serves you and lower your head down for about 5 breaths here. Child's pose. Let the weight of your thoughts pour out through your forehead into the ground. Just feel your body stretching, breathing, being in support. On an inhale, come up to hands and knees. Tone around your arms and legs. Stretch your left leg back, toes tuck under, and you can roll. Okay. And then side two, right leg steps back, and you can roll on your toes. Keep your arms toned. And then lower your right leg, step your left leg back, level your hips, tone your arms a lot, and lift your left leg. Maybe you lift it a little higher than your hip and press your chest forward, taking the slightest back bend. Inhale. And exhale, squeeze your knees slowly in towards your chest and pull your navel back and round through your spine. Inhale, stretch the leg back, maybe the slightest little back bend. And exhale, squeeze in. Let's do one more. Inhale, stretch. And exhale, squeeze. And lower the knee. And sit into child's pose. When you're in child's pose, you can give your hands a little break, squeezing and opening your hands or rolling out your wrists. And then we'll come back to hands and knees once our hands feel good. So just join me when you're ready. Step your right foot back, level out your hips, tone your middle, lift your foot up. Maybe it lifts a little higher than your hip, chest opens, little back bend. Exhale, squeeze in, round. We're doing 3. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, squeeze. Feel your body moving through air freely. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, squeeze. And then the knee comes back onto the floor. And if you're comfortable joining me and sitting on your heels or sitting on a block, please take a moment to find that. Take your arms forward. Neck is free. Press into stop sign hands and then roll your hands down, stretching the back of the wrists. Stop signs, stretch the back of the wrists. Let's go a couple times. Lately, I've been kind of switching back and forth. When I stretch the back of my wrist, sometimes I'll use fists and sometimes I'll have my hands straight. Right now, I recommend that you take your hands straight down rather than fists because then you can do little windshield wipers with your hands. Let's stretch the back of the wrists and rock the hands left and right. Try not to overactivate the shoulders. And then let's do some gentle shaking of the hands, arms, get into the shoulders. Okay. Now, please come back to hands and knees, but put your hands on blocks. It's going to give you a little bit more freedom. With my blocks at the second height, take the left foot back behind you. Inhale here. Exhale, step the left foot in between your hands. Roll the blocks onto their highest setting and make sure your legs are hips distance. Now again, you either stay still or if the movement is helpful, then we're going to inhale, lean our hips a little forward, not at the cost of our low back, keeping our right glute strong. And then we're going to exhale and push back, straightening that front leg or going towards straight. And then we'll just kind of smoothly roll forward on the inhale, hips back on the exhale. Gentle inhale, long exhale. Okay. Now what I'd like you to do is take your foot, your left foot, bend the knee, and heel toe your left foot an inch or 2 to the right, okay? So yes, that might throw off your balance a little bit. That's why your hands are on blocks. When you stretch your hips back, I'm actually going to go a little further over to the right. When you stretch your hips back, presumably, you should feel more of a stretch in your outer thigh. And so if that's an okay option for you, stay here for a few rounds of breath. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to roll forward, bend the front knee, heel toe that left foot in line with the left hip. Take a break in terms of plant our hands and lift our back knee. Give our back knee a break. You can rock a little. And then we're going to do one more pose in this series. Take your right knee down again, heel toe your left leg to the left for lizard pose. So your left foot is now wider than your left hip. And take a couple of long breaths here. You're welcome to, drill your left foot down into the floor, knee and toes pointing in the same direction. Make sure your hip's okay. And then you're welcome to lift your back knee if you want a little more challenge. Feel the strength of your body. Feel the warmth of those muscles turning on and working for you. Feel your connection to the floor. You can come into child's pose or down dog from here. Take your time. You might step back onto hands and knees, take a breather, make your decision, hands on the floor, and then come into your pose of choice. If you need more movement, you can inhale plank. Exhale, lower to the floor for chaturanga. Inhale, come into a little gentle back bend, cobra. And exhale back into down dog. Options. Luckily, we have lots of options, especially with how we treat our bodies. Let's meet on hands and knees. Let's put our hands on blocks. I'm going to start at the second height. Balance your weight between all limbs. Step your right leg back. Step your right leg forward in between your hands. Roll your blocks onto their higher setting. And you could stay right here in Anjaneyasana, or you can inhale with the hips forward and exhale, straighten the front leg, pressing the hips back. Okay, if you're moving, keep going. Gentle inhale, long exhale. Okay, one more. And then we're going to bend the front knee, heel toe the foot to the left. So it's going across our body. I would start with a couple inches and give it a trial run. See if that feels sufficient when you stretch your leg straight. And if you need a little more, taking an inch over, just go small increments at a time until you find that you're feeling maybe a little bit of broadening across the pelvis, the back of the pelvis, and maybe there's an extra stretch in the outer right thigh as well as presumably the back of the thigh, the calf. There's potentially a lot of stretching happening here. So take it lightly so that you're not like forcing yourself into a pain, you know, which sometimes we do without really thinking too much about it. And then we'll bend that front knee, heel toe it back to center, push down on our hands and lift our back knee and just kind of wiggle out here. I'm just going forward and back, giving my back foot a moment to stretch out, my back knee a moment to release. And then when you're ready to join me, come down with that back knee, walk your right foot to the right for a lizard, I'm moving my blocks and putting my hands on the floor, so I'm a little lower to the ground, but that's still fine on my right hip. That's not too deep of a stretch. So please be mindful of that in your body. And then back knee can come up if you want that extra dose of just turning everything on, working the core, working the arms, working the legs, and just really trying to maintain this pose, which sometimes we have the energy for that and sometimes we do not. What do you find helpful right now? Both feet push down, both hands push down. Now, we're going to make our way back to child's pose or down dog. I'm going to pause in hands and knees in the spirit of taking things a little more deliberately today. And then I'm going to take an exhale into down dog, but you could also come into child's pose. As you know, you can also come forward into plank on an inhale, chaturanga on an exhale, cobra on an inhale, and back to down dog on an exhale. If you're in down dog, gaze at one point. Maybe it's your navel, maybe it's one spot in between your feet. Let your eyes settle. Okay, come on down to hands and knees. Swing your legs around in front of you. Let's kind of stretch out the hips a little bit here on the floor. So let's do, you're laying down. Let's do laying down on the back. Okay. You can have your blocks nearby. I recommend it. Strap nearby. It might come up. You can put something under your head for now. And to start with, let's bring the soles of our feet together, knees wide. And if you'd like, put blocks underneath your knees. Okay, we're actually going to be here for a minute. I'd love for you to take your hands to your abdomen and inhale deeply, really making your abdominal muscles big and full. And then exhale to relax those muscles. And just continue for the next minute. Okay. Now, if your legs can go deeper, so I have my legs on a block. I'm going to move the blocks. I'm going to let my legs open a little bit further, but not at the cost of my low back. Okay. So if this is all relevant to you, then go, you're welcome to go a little deeper if you'd like. Please do keep your low back in mind. You still want your pelvis to be flat on the floor and just a gentle curve in your low back, as always. Okay. But what I'd like you to do is take your hands around the outer edges of your abdomen. And as you inhale, yeah, you feel your abdomen stretch out a little bit, but then you feel it into your ribs and into your chest as well. So take an inhale into kind of everything. And then as you exhale, feel your abdomen tone. So your hands narrow the slightest bit. Or you could just feel if you press into your abdomen that it's just toned. It's just, that's all. Inhale into everything. Then exhale, tone your abdomen. Okay. And that's a minute. So now let's take our hands behind our head. If you want, We're going to do some crunches. If you're not feeling the crunches, then you're going to stay right where you are doing the same thing. If you're feeling the crunches, you want a little movement, plug your arm bones in, lift your head and shoulders, careful of your neck, knees squeeze toward each other. And then we'll open the knees and lay back down with control. And repeat these crunches. And then eventually you'll come back down, take your arms out of the position, take your feet back to neutral, thighs, hips distance apart, and then hug one leg, stretch the other leg down onto the floor. Squeeze all the way in, exhale all your breath out, and then slide into side two. We're just going to keep going back and forth. Maybe it feels a little like you're marching. Each exhale, you can slide a leg into your chest, give it a good squeeze, and then switch over. And if you started on the right, you're going to finish on the left. Okay, and then plant both feet on the floor. Take your right ankle on top of your left thigh and take eye of the needle. Now, if you'd like, you can just give yourself a little gentle rock left and right, massaging out the sacral band. Feel your sacral band touching the floor, whatever part is touching. Focus your attention on that sensation. Maybe your legs rock all the way over to the left and you come into an eye of the needle twist. I'm pushing my top foot, which is my right foot, down into the floor and opening my right arm to the right. If you want this extension, go for it. You can stay here or you can release the hold of your foot and gently guide your right knee down toward the floor, taking your right leg toward internal rotation. And then our right leg is going to make its way out of the pose and the left leg will follow. Pause here for a moment, both hips on the floor, both feet on the floor. Hands press into the thighs, press your thigh bones away and feel the effect on your hip creases and on your lower back. Take your left ankle to your right thigh and eye of the needle side two. Rock side to side, paying all of your attention to the sensation of your pelvis rocking on the floor. Supported in this way, in this way, in that way, in this way. free to move, but still held. And then your legs can rock over to the right if you'd like to take a twist. The top leg, the right leg, you're pushing that foot into the floor. I'm using my right hand to help push that foot into the floor. And then left arm can spread out to the left. And then if it's available, you can take your left thigh and turn it a little toward the floor. So rather than my left knee pointing toward the ceiling, I'm just kind of gently bringing that thigh down toward the floor, which I've never been able to go very far in this direction. So if you feel that this is impossible or very limited, please honor that. I'm not asking you to push through it. Some bodies do it easily, some bodies it doesn't happen. Many of us are in between those two extremes. And then we're going to ease our left leg out of that position. Put both feet down on the floor. And again, just pause, feeling both feet on the floor, pelvis on the floor, shoulders on the floor, head on the floor. Okay. Now, you can roll right over onto your belly. That's one option. What I'm going to do is grab a hold of my knees, roll myself up into a seat, pause for a moment. Meet in hands and knees. Place the blanket down in the middle of my mat so my pelvis can be supported, and then lay on the front of the body. Okay, so you can do a whole thing or you could just flip on over. Once you're on the front of your body, take your legs a little wide on the mat, put your head on your hands. Again, just letting those thoughts drain down into the floor for now. Replaced with a feeling of mental spaciousness, freedom to create, to just be. Okay, and then when you're ready, join me in Sphinx pose. You can pull those elbows back underneath your shoulders. And now let's do this. Look at your hands. Well, make your pose feel good. And stretch out your legs, push down your feet. Okay. Now look at your hands and just press through the pinkies. Really press those finger pads down into the floor. Okay. And then keep them down, but soften the pressure. And then put pressure under the ring fingers. Put a lot of pressure, extra pressure, more than you need. And then soften. And do that with the middle finger pads. Try to press down evenly through inner and outer. Notice if they're twisting at all. Soften. Index. Soften. Thumb. Soften. All the fingertips of the right hand press down and soften. All the fingertips of the left hand press down and soften. All the fingertips of both hands press down. Chest is broad. Drop your chin towards your chest. And then slowly roll your head up to the height that feels like your neck is in the same amount of extension as the rest of your spine. Complete your exhales. One more breath. Now, please lower down, bend your right knee out to the right, and you can make a 90-degree angle at the hip, bend the knee and the ankle. That would be the deepest you would go in this position. Or you can make more like a tree situation and your knee can be lower than your hip. Okay, so find something that feels like good for you, for your hip. Inner thigh gets heavy. And I'm going to support my head with my right arm and take my left arm out into cactus because my left leg is out kind of like a cactus shape. My left arm is going to come out like a cactus shape too. So that means that I have more weight on the right side of the body, as do you. And then that means that maybe there's a little bit more movement as a result of the breath in the left side of the body. How does it feel to fill up the belly, ribs, and chest on the inhale? On the left side, fill up the left belly, left ribs, left chest, and then exhale and soften around the joint of the left shoulder and the left hip. And then inhale, fill up, and you feel your body so slightly push away from the floor. And then exhale, heavy against the floor. Keep going. One more breath. And then ease your leg back, your forehead down on your hands. Bend your knees and rock your feet side to side. And what if you go just a little slower than you're going now? Thanking your body just for being yours, helping you out. Okay, come back to center, bend the right knee to the right, find your angle. Head can turn to the right, right arm can stretch into cactus. Now, there are different arm and head variations, so please take the one that serves you. And you're breathing in to your right side, belly, ribs, chest. And breathing out to let your body sink down into support. And then we'll take the leg back. Put the head on the hands. Bend the knees and cross and open the ankles. And then switch which ankle is crossed in front and open the ankles. And then come back to center. And if you feel comfortable here, stay here. And if you are ready to come out of this position, which laying on the front of your body is called laying prone. So if you'd like to come out of this prone position, please come into child's pose. And your inhales are easy and your exhales are deliberately long. And then take your time coming into either Shavasana or a seated position. What makes you feel more mm, taken care of in this moment? And again, really take your time to make yourself feel good, comfortable, held. Then you'll track your breaths again. And you'll notice an easy inhale moving into the crown of your head, sparking up your attention up there. And then the exhale is moving down through your head, face, neck, shoulders, almost like a warm light moving down. And then an inhale into your chest, and an exhale out through the arms, down through the torso, and an inhale into the belly. And an exhale out through the belly, low back, hips, legs, down to the floor. Feel your weight on the floor. And do it again. Inhale into the top of your head. Exhale down, releasing the muscles that don't need to hold here. Until you get to the heart center and inhale there. And exhale, releasing through the arms, hands, fingers, torso. Inhale into the belly. And an exhale all the way out through the rest of your body. Notice your weight on the ground. Try it one more time on your own. Use the control of your breath and let your body rest here. Bring your attention into your body, and if it needs to relax a little longer, let it. Otherwise, take your time to find a seated position. May you be well.